Hello my loves, welcome back to Bahati Life YouTube channel. I am so excited to talk to you guys tonight or today or whatever it is that you're hanging out with me about the Aquarius new moon that's happening January 21st. I have the chart pulled up for 2:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but the exact time is going to happen a little bit after that. If I had to guess, I would say roughly around 2:40, anywhere between 2:40 and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As you guys know, I pull the charts intuitively and kind of like zero it in as much as possible when I'm doing these readings for you guys. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and dive right in. The first thing that's really standing out to me about this new moon is the fact that this is going to be a supermoon, which makes this energy even more potent than it typically would be. The metaphor that Spirit is guiding me to share with you guys is this idea of taking an ice bath. And if you've never taken an ice bath before, which I have, it can be very dramatic on the body, but the benefits they far outweigh the temporary feeling of discomfort. I actually had to look up what are the actual benefits of taking ice baths. It says reduces inflammation, relieves sore muscles, aids exercise recovery, lowers core body temperature, supports immunity, improves mental health. All of those things and are the first initial things that I see when I Google the benefits of taking an ice bath. How does this apply to the Aquarius new moon? I'm getting this really strong sense that temporary discomfort leads to lasting positive impacts on your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. That is ultimately the energy and the vibe of what it is that I'm seeing in the Aquarius new moon. Aquarius's energy with this new moon, especially a supermoon, wants to polar plunge you into brand new, fresh experiences. If there's temporary discomfort, it's there to solve a long-term problem. It's there to align you and correct you along your path. I want to say really quickly that Aquarius is not water energy, it's air. So for those of you guys that are like, oh, is it because they're water influence? It's not that at all. It's an intuitive vision that I feel that Spirit is leading me to share with you guys now as I'm sharing this chart with you guys. There has been a lot of massive, crazy change in so many different areas of our life. And this has everything to do with the fact that Uranus, the planet of unpredictable changes, has been transiting through the sign of Taurus. Taurus is one of the fixed signs that likes things to be permanent and lasting and structured and stabilized. It rules our economics, it rules business, it rules the land, terra. All those things have been completely uprooted since Uranus has started to transit through that sign. So it impacts us in our business, it impacts our brands, it impacts our money, our spending, and ultimately the things that we find or that we deem most valuable to us. As I'm looking at the astrological chart, there's really nothing in here that is stable and predictable. Everything, when I look at the chart, is set up and wired for change. We have to learn as human beings to kind of adjust with this as much as we can. And for the Aquarius new moon, I feel like the changes that have already occurred up until this point, we have to not just surrender to them and accept them, but almost take this new moon and plunge ourselves into this idea that we have the opportunity to manifest a fresh, new, healthy beginning that benefits every single aspect of our life. But we have to at least be open to this perspective that there could be something else better for us to gain than what we've already kind of established for ourselves right now. Why is this? Because Aquarius always thinks about the future. It always thinks far, far in advance, partially because it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn loves longevity. It's co-ruled by Saturn, but it's also co-ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius thinks about the future, but it thinks about the future in a way that deviates from how we've known things to be. Saturn loves structure, it loves routine, it doesn't like to change things up. Uranus loves the future, and it loves the potential of what the future can be, which is something other than what it is right now. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But that's the energy that it is that we're getting, that we're tapping into here. I would love to encourage you guys to look in to see what Aquarius rules within your chart. What does it naturally rule within your chart? And where is this new moon activating its energy right now? Because that's where you're going to start to see a lot of this shock kind of happening and this door kind of swinging open. To me, as I look at this, it feels good. It feels positive. It feels beneficial. We have Jupiter, the great benefactor, transiting through the sign of Aries, who is a self-starter and comes in like a bolt of lightning or a shock to the system all by himself. Jupiter is positively aspecting this new moon, which says that whatever changes that you are being called to make or called to initiate during this time, because there is this leader effect that's happening here, let it be for your highest and greatest good, not only for right now, but for the rest of eternity as far as you know it. How would you know that? Well, you can be open to be divinely inspired. This is times where Neptune transiting through the sign of Pisces, you allow yourself to be intuitively led by your guides, by your ancestors, by your higher self, by your own intuition, and you take that information, those downloads, and you begin to apply it into your life in a way that inspires you to be something better than who or what you already are right now. Some of you guys are also going to be really guided and led into minimalism, simplicity, cleaning things out, and prioritizing the health and the well-being of your mind space. Also, I'm seeing that for many of you guys, for the first time in a very long time, you're going to be venturing out on adventures, traveling, any type of mental expansion. These are things that you're doing for your sole purpose of the fact that it genuinely feels good for you, and doing that ends up leaving a lasting imprint on all of humanity, because you're one of a billion people that is prioritizing their joy and their pleasure and their happiness and their health, and that impacts all of us in such a great way. Mental health is going to be 1000% prioritized during this new moon, if it hasn't already. I've said this in one of my recent videos. I just uploaded earlier today. We were talking about spiritual attacks. We're talking about psychic attacks, spiritual warfare, mental health and emotional health, and why we're seeing this so rampant right now. It's almost like a lot of people are disconnected from the ability to see life in a more healthy, realistic way. Some people are really tapped into fantasy, and that can be tough and tricky if you're not grounding yourself. It can make you feel dissociating from your body. It can make you feel disconnected from reality. What is reality? These are like loopholes and questions that can go really, really deep. You know what I mean? And that's a topic for a whole nother discussion, because if we all sat at this round table, we would have so many conflicting opinions and perspectives on different things that it's just like, it could take us 3 weeks to just have the discussion all by itself. So I don't even want to talk about what is real. I just want to say that with Neptune's transit through the sign of Pisces, it starts to make us question our reality, but ultimately you don't want to get lost in the sauce of concepts and illusion and fantasy and conspiracies and all those other things, because it can really be a rabbit hole. Think about Alice in Wonderland, when she kind of tumbles down this rabbit hole and she discovers an alternate universe. It totally mind warps her sense of reality, her sense of time. All of those things are called into question. That is something that is similar that we can find with the Neptune transit through the sign of Pisces. However, like I said, and it makes it even more vulnerable when you look at this chart and there's all of this energy that's just like, what is real? What is important to us? What is valuable to us? Money matters, but in this case, it's like it's all these different conflicting energies that are happening in the planets right now that can create a lot of energetic chaos. Don't get me started. Like, don't get me started. But back to the chart. So what it is that I'm seeing, guys, right now is there's this hyper emphasis on the mind, the activity of the mind, the health of the mind, and the long-term progression of the mind, making sure that your mind is good, making sure that your thoughts are clear. And I just kind of see this kind of bleeding into how you take care of your health, how you pack your bag at the end of the day before you plan to go to work, what type of work it is that you feel called to do. Are you going to be called into more humanitarian efforts, and money and working your way to the top no longer serves the same purpose and value that that it did in the beginning, and now all of a sudden you just really want to be a help to mankind. You might even be renouncing certain titles or whatever the case is, and opening up a new door that has more purpose and meaning for and what is valuable to you at this point in your life. As I'm looking at the chart too, just to kind of like put a little pin in that even more, Venus, which rules what we're naturally attracted to, is directly conjunct Saturn, which makes us very serious and stubborn in what it is that we want to, what we're aesthetically drawn to. And Venus, falling in the sign of Aquarius, she says, you know what? I actually don't like what is typically attractive. I'm actually feeling called to something different. I'm actually being called to something outrageous. I'm being called to something that totally deviates from my normal community. I want something that's so different from me. And if you do follow those energies, you will find part of fortune falling in the sign of Gemini. Gemini is very curious in nature. Mars is transiting through the sign of Gemini, now direct. This is energy that says pursue that which is different. Ask questions. Be curious. Go out and explore. And also, it makes the mind very, very active. So, how do you use this new moon, this Aquarius energy new moon? Well, I would use it for brainstorming. I would use it for writing a book. I would use it for journaling. I would use it for doing research. I would use it for exploring different platforms, exchanging different information, finding different programs and schools or classes that you can take that help you in whatever pursuit that you're in right now, whether it be you're interested in yoga again, or you would like to study a new language, or you might be booking a trip because you just got to get away and explore a whole new culture totally outside of what it is that you normally are accustomed to. There's so many different ways that you can use this Aquarius new moon. But again, look at your individual chart, see what Aquarius rules for you. Let me know down in the comments. I can help you formulate a little plan because as a Virgo, I am good at that. I'm good at finding problems or finding solutions to problems, and also finding problems on problems, because that's just what we do. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, if I was gonna manifest anything, I would manifest everything during this time. I think that with so much that has been broken down around us, it leaves us no choice but to look at a blank slate. And if I were you, which I'm not you, so at the end of the day, you do you, boo, because I'm gonna do me. But if I was your friend and we were vibing, sitting at a table, drinking coffee, having a candle lit right here, and we're just talking about astrology, I would ask you as your friend, how do you envision your life? If you had the chance to really build your reality from square one, a blank slate, and maybe just taking yourself in that, what would you bring into this new experience? What would you bring into this next chapter of your life? You don't have to take anything of what is that you've already had before outside of your experiences and your hopes and your wishes and a cup of coffee. You don't have to bring anything with you into this new chapter in your life. But what would you take into this new chapter in your life, and what would this new chapter look like if we didn't even take into consideration the past? What would your mental health look like? What would your days look like? How are you spending your time? How are you prioritizing your time? Who are you spending your time with, if anyone at all? Where would you go? Where would you travel? What trips would you take? What adventures would you be called to do? Do you see yourself in a mountain? Do you see yourself in the ocean? Where are we going? What's the vibe? Let me know, guys. Let me know down in the comments. Part of it is also manifestation. When you get it out of your mind and onto paper, you type it out, you'd be surprised how freaking powerful that is. It's very, very powerful. Along with lighting candles and working with oils and setting those types of intentions through magical goodies. But that's another conversation. So thank you so much for hanging out with me once again. I'm sending you guys all of my love and all of the many blessings that you can receive from the universe. I'm also calling out to the universe and to the divine for your protection, for your clarity, and for guidance along the path that is that you're meant to take, whatever direction that's taking you. I want to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because you're playing my videos where this came from. And of course, I'll see you in my next one.